Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network. GABNET needs you. Yes, GABNET needs you to call our live programs and be a part of the citizen panels. It's the most innovative talk format yet because it's not just one caller, it's a group of callers interacting with the hosts at the same time. Here's how you do it. It's simple. First, download Skype at skype.com. To install it, answer 4 simple questions. First name, last name, email address, and your choice of ID. Then launch Skype, go to Add Contacts, type in GABNET Live, and ask to be made a contact. Then you're ready to be on the citizen panel. If you're too lazy, well, you can always call on the phone at 347-352-0079. That's 347-352-0079. For all the information and a call button for Skype, log on to gabnet.net. At the bottom of the page, you'll find a video on how to call us and how to use GABNET. It couldn't be easier. It couldn't be more fun and exciting. We're new. We're different. But we need you to call. So for crying out loud, call or we'll kill this dog. Don't worry, Fluffy. They won't let you die. I'm not kidding. Call or Fluffy gets it. Oopsie.
Hey everybody, this is Alex Bennett, host of the Ramble, heard here and seen here on GABNET, Tuesday through Fridays, live at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and I got some big news for you. Our program has moved its live video from Facebook Live to YouTube Live. After extensive tests in our GABNET laboratories of at least 10 minutes, our mind was made up and we've come to the conclusion that YouTube is superior not only in video quality, but audio as well. And then there's the ease of watching it. Here's what you do. Simply point your browser to youtube.com/Bolo Bennett /live. That's youtube.com/Bolo Bennett, BOLOBENNETT /live. And you're there. The player is waiting, and you do nothing, and when the show begins, so does the player. Couldn't be simpler. In fact, tag that page as a permanent tab on your browser, and you're ready to go. And if all of this is too vexing for you, well, just go to gabnet.net near showtime, and the player in the middle of the page will start to play when we're on. We're thrilled with the new quality our move has provided, and while you're there, would you do me a favor and please subscribe to our channel? No, I beg you to. Hey, listen to me, I'm groveling, okay? I know, it's pathetic. I'm sorry, I'm debasing myself, and I really shouldn't be. Please.
Reasons why you tune into GABNET. Here's reason number 9. Great celebrity guests.
So how many years is this now with Teller?
43, and that's 43 continuous. You can try to say Keith Richards and Mick Jagger go longer, but they take 3, 4, 5 years off. You know, even when they're together, they take the time off. Continuous, you know, no more than 2 weeks working apart, I think.
Wow. And
like being waterboarded for 43 years.
GABNET. Reasons to listen every day. Log on to gabnet.net for more. GABNET. It's talk like you've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey, this is Alex Bennett, and this is the Ramble, and we go until midnight Eastern Time. Okay, it's him once again. It's Larry Bubbles Brown. Yes, sir. Hi, Larry.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah, I had to go close the door because there was this. I have a guest staying here, Buddy Love, who you know,
Buddy Love from 100 years ago, of course.
Yeah, he's staying here, and along with his lovely wife. And then he has a friend over today who they're just sitting out there talking, and I had to close the door. Can I drop the name? I guess.
Drop the name.
Yeah, he's Paul Schaefer. So
you're where the elites hang out.
Yeah,
the Bennett household.
Yeah, the elites hang out at Bennett's household. Yeah. So anyway, you remember Paul Schaefer from the 2 times you were on the Letterman
I remember the
show.
first. One of the things that got me going the first time was I could hear him laugh very hard at one of my jokes. That was helpful. Yeah, so I appreciate Paul Schaefer.
Yeah. Well, see, that's great. See, and that happens. Yeah. It's what was it? I was at speaking of somebody else. Will Durst was in town, and we went to see his show.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's back there. Right.
Went to see his one-man show, and now my wife has a problem, and that is that she works very hard, and she has a tendency, right, to kind of, when we're watching television, fall asleep while we're watching TV. Well, we go to see him, Will, and all of a sudden I look over and she's nodding out. Now, it's not because Will isn't doing a great job, and it's not because the show isn't interesting. It's because this is just what she does. I'm sure she goes to a major Broadway show that she just paid $180 to see and falls asleep in it. And I had to keep hitting her because I know what it's like to stand on stage and look at one of the rows and somebody sleeping.
That's worse than being heckled. Yeah.
It's worse than being heckled. So I had to kind of always punch her and wake her up. But, you know, I've been told by comedians, tell me if I'm right, that you could be with an audience in which everybody in the audience is laughing their heads off at you. And if there's somebody in the front row with his arms folded, not laughing, that's the one person you pay attention to.
Yeah, you got to focus on that one because we're so goddamn needy. We have to have everyone love us. So if there's one person out there.
Yeah, I mean, audience can be going crazy, but if that guy's sitting there with his arms folded, that's enough to drive you crazy. Right?
Yeah. Oh.
You know, Shecky used to say, if you ever want to come down to the Letterman show, be my guest, but you're going to have to sit in the balcony. Then I said, why? And he said, well, number one, it's better in the balcony. Most people think because at a TV show, there are cameras in front of you. And you're above the cameras if you're sitting in the balcony. He said, but secondly, Dave doesn't want anybody, including CBS executives, sitting in the front row. And I said, why? He says, because he feels that he wants people sitting in the front row who want to be there. You know,
right.
who had to go to some lengths to be in that front row. And then he's got an appreciative audience. But if he's got a bunch of executives in the front row, they've all got their arms folded going, well, is this what we're paying for? You know? So, I mean, I always notice that if I did a show, although a lot of times you can't see the audience that well, people don't understand that in a lot of theaters there's so many lights shining in your face that you don't see the audience.
You're blind.
But you do hear the audience, you know, and you do play to that. So, but if you see somebody and they're not laughing, I'm sorry. That guy is everything. He's the only person in the audience.
Yeah, it can really throw you off.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a show where one person really threw you off?
No, with me, it's usually the majority of the audience. I've never had to deal with that problem.
They all hate me.
I think the worst thing, maybe even worse, is when, and it's painful to watch, when you see people start to walk out on a performer, not just comics, but suddenly one person or two people get up and leave, that'll open the floodgates, and then everyone starts going. That's really hard to watch.
Oh, have you had that happen?
I think only when I did Bobby Bitter with our old friend David Feldman.
But now let's explain. That's one thing we've never explained to this audience is Bobby Bitter. Now, explain.
Do we want to go into that?
Explain Bobby Bitter.
Okay, it was an alter ego character, and David felt it was like I played this really old comic who supposedly had this fantastic career, and David would interview me on stage, and it was very offensive and edgy at the time, I think, and a lot of people liked it, and a lot of people hated it.
I don't know anybody that hated it. Everybody kept saying,
when we did it in the clubs, a lot of people would walk out. They were just really pissed off.
What, for instance, explain to the audience some of the things you might have said.
Okay, Bobby had a telethon where he'd come out with a little crippled Timmy and say, "You know, folks, cerebral palsy ain't as funny as it looks." Things like that.
And you had a voice you did for him, kind of.
Yeah, I can't even, a very raspy voice. I can't even do it anymore. But it hurt to do it. I remember that.
Yeah.
But I think it played pretty. We did it in your show a few times. It played pretty well on radio.
They loved it. But you know what? Here's the thing about my radio show. People would listen to it every day, hopefully, and then they would come to a show that we were doing. And so you didn't even have to, where a comedian who nobody's ever seen before, the first 5 minutes of his act is establishing who he is and getting the audience used to the rhythm of what you do. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you probably have some piece you use when you're in Duluth that is your introductory piece so they will understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But when you did my show, you never had to do that. Because everybody knew where you were coming from. They heard you on the radio. Mm-hmm. And so my audiences were the easiest audiences to play to because they were ready for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they still walked out on you. But that's no. I mean, people. I would go out and I would do my little MC thing, and I'm not a comedian, as you know. And yet I would even kill.
You killed.
Because I would just, do things that they related to from the radio show. And people would go, "Gee, you really should be a stand-up. You really get some laughs." And I go, "No, I'm getting laughs off of stuff I've already taught them. This is not, put me up in front of a strange audience in Duluth, Minnesota. Wait a minute, hold on a second. My golf ball has disappeared. Have I explained my golf ball? I have a golf ball that sits here, and that I rub my feet back and forth across it, and it takes care of my plantar fasciitis. Isn't that cool?
No.
Anyway, I just lost it again. What's with me? Stay there. Damn it. But I mean, if I did in Duluth, Minnesota, nobody knows who's this guy. Why is he funny? So.
No, but you were a good MC, which is a very hard thing to do.
Well, yeah. I mean, the MC's job is not to try and top the comics. The MC's job is to set the table for the comic. Yeah. So.
And not many people do that very well.
I thought I was a pretty good MC.
Oh, you do. You're great, yeah.
Yeah. But I do some bits from the radio show. I would have people in the audience ask me questions, and I would ad-lib the whole thing because it's the way I do radio. So I survived.
I think my favorite shows with you might have been the Christmas shows we did were great.
Well, the Supper with Schwarzman.
Yeah, that we usually do those at the Fairmont. Those were really fantastic shows.
Yeah, with the whole 10-piece orchestra.
Yeah. I was like, that was really like old big time radio. It was great.
Yeah, well, the reason I did it is because I grew up on big old time radio.
Yeah,
and that was the radio I always wanted to do. And to me, that is still the only radio. I mean, there isn't radio anymore. Forget it.
No.
The idea of radio was it entertained you. And I don't think there's anybody out there particularly entertaining people on the radio. They use other people's talents as their show, which means, by that I mean they play records. See, I always hated playing records. I was a disc jockey for quite a bit of my early career. And I kind of hated it because I felt that I was using somebody else's talent rather than relying on my own. But in those days, we were told, you know, even though you were playing top 40, to be entertaining between the records, to tell a joke or to be humorous or something, you know. But even that's dead now.
Yeah.
You know.
It's so pathetic if you turn on radio now.
In this business, I'm an anachronism. I'm sorry. You know. I don't fit anywhere. So that's
well, it's their loss because that was good entertainment.
Well, I mean, but I was doing really old-fashioned radio. They say, how innovative? You have a live studio audience. This is not innovative. You know, that's the way radio was.
Yeah.
At one point, we were going to, I was working for Play Incorporated, and I had convinced them that maybe we should look into renting or maybe buying the old NBC studios in San Francisco. You know, the ones that are at Mason and O'Farrell?
Yeah.
Beautiful building, beautiful old Art Deco building, and off one side of it there's a big, like, mosaic mural of a hand on a dial, and then all the peoples of the world having the signal going out to, you know. And it stands about 3 stories high, that mural. It's still there, I believe. And the building was wonderful, and it used to be the NBC Red and Blue Network studios. It was where they had Radio City in New York, right? And they had Radio City in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. This one was called Radio City San Francisco. I still have the original brochure from the place, and which I found when we were taking a tour around. They said, oh, look what we found. And they found a bunch of these folios that had been passed out in like 1939 when the place was first opened up, and it's Radio City San Francisco.
Wow.
And all the studios were still there. And what I wanted to do was, the idea was this. We would do a national show every night out of San Francisco, out of those studios, out of those old studios. There was a Studio A there where my father used to play. It had a room for a studio audience. It had a stage, the whole thing. It had a booth to the side that was the control booth, and up above it was the sponsors booth, where the sponsors would watch the shows being done. And it was a magnificent place. And then there were all these smaller studios as well. And what we were planning on doing was doing a nightly show out of there, complete with an orchestra and everything, and turning it into a nightclub as well. So that what you would do is you would come in and you would watch the show, and then you would have dinner, and then we would have the band play music, and you would dance, right?
Yeah, great idea.
Great idea. Just was too prohibitive financially. Just too prohibitive, so we never did it. But I thought it would have been wonderful. We were going to call the club itself Studio A and Studio A at Radio City, and we were going to call the whole building Radio City.
That would have been great.
But it was huge. What happened is they had the Blue Network, or Red and Blue Network. One was on the bottom floors, one was on the top floors, and then years later, the NBC was forced to get rid of, I think it was the Blue Network, and it became ABC. So ABC was upstairs. So the outside says it said KNBR or KNBC when it was originally started, or no, even earlier than that. KPO and KGO, and it would have been great. That was my big dream, was to be able to have us own that building, or at least have the lease on it, and then be able to open it up as a because it was KBHK TV at the time.
Yeah, 44.
And KBHK was leaving there, so it was a question of who was going to go in there next. And it was a beautiful building. They've kind of ruined it a little bit. The outside of it had there were no windows. There were these. You remember these glass bricks that you couldn't see through it, but the light could come through.
Yeah.
Well, it was trimming each floor of the building. There were no windows looking out on the street, but there was all this light coming in. And it was wonderful. It was just wonderful. Wonderful building. And considered the height of Art Deco at the time. And I remember, here's the best part. I remember the folio that I have. They had a kitchen. And they had a chef in that kitchen. And he was standing there with the kitchen with that OK sign with his fingers.
Overused.
Yeah, but they had that. And then where the elevators were, they had shafts. And there was a microphone at the top of the shaft and a speaker at the bottom. Guess what they used that for? An echo chamber.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So that was built, the echo chamber was built right into the building, and it was natural echo. It wasn't like reverb. It was natural echo. And a lot of great shows came out of there over the years. Jack Benny, whenever he came to San Francisco, would do his show out of that building. And so would a lot of other people. I mean, and then in later years, Jack Webb did his first series out of there called Pat Novak for Hire. It was a big facility. It was a major NBC facility for broadcasting. So anyway, what a beautiful building. And it's still there, but they did away with all those glass blocks, and that kind of ruined it. I think they put in. I think they actually put in windows.
The city knows how to ruin everything.
Well, it's not so much the city, it's owners of these properties that don't know their true worth and their true history. And I don't know that building was ever landmarked.
See, it should have been landmarked, yeah.
Yeah, if it had been landmarked, you wouldn't have had that problem. But it was landmarked. It wasn't landmarked, I don't think. So, anyway, that was another thing that got away from me. I want
to do another show at the Fairmont. That was so much fun.
The building wanted only $1 million to buy it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Well, you would have made money on that.
Oh, I'm sure today. But
you can't buy a cracker box house in the Sunset for $1 million. So.
Well, I guess we are coming up on Christmas, so that would have been one of my shows at the Fairmont. People, you asked me to come back and do a reunion show, and I wonder how many people remember me now in San Francisco.
Well, when Bob Rubin and I mentioned your name of the punchline last month, the place went insane. So. I think there'd be quite a few.
Yeah, I mean, I just, like people say, well, you should go back to San Francisco and find a radio station, do your radio show. And I go, it worked then. I don't know if it would work now. Number one, because the expectations of the audience are different. They're used to something entirely different on their radio now.
Right.
And what I was trying to do when I did it, I've been using this term a lot today, was in and of itself an anachronism. To do a live show with comics doing comedy and singers singing and an orchestra playing everybody on and off and so on was an old concept. In fact, I had to help the station reinvent it because there were simple things that they didn't know in the beginning, and I had to kind of, once I would listen to it, I go, oh, yeah, of course that's wrong. They never put microphones on the audience. because they didn't think they had to. The microphones are only on the people who are talking. But no, in the old radio days, you had the audience mic'd, because there's nothing worse than a comic, and I found this was what was happening, is comics were doing their comedy, and you couldn't hear anybody laugh.
Yeah, so you said, on the air, it sounds like they're bombing.
It sounds like they're bombing on the air. So what I did is I said, I want 2 microphones pointing out at the audience, and then balance that audience against the comedians. And then all of a sudden it came alive, you know. But those were things we had to relearn, because it had been so many years since anybody had done that kind of radio. And that was the radio I grew up on. That was the radio I wanted to do. And I feel blessed that, at least for a short time, I was able to do it in San Francisco. You know, and those Supper with Schwarzmans were the complete idealization and the complete completion of a dream that I had about doing radio. That was the radio show I wanted to do.
Well, it's a great idea.
I mean, if I had had my way, I mean, at least I was able to get a studio audience on my show, something nobody else has done since. But if I had had my way, there would have been an orchestra there every morning, too. You know, it would have been a full-blown show. Because I remember waking up when I was a kid to a show called The Breakfast Club with Don McNeil. And he did it I think he did it out of Chicago. I may be wrong, but I think he did it out of Chicago. And he had an orchestra, and it was Good Morning Breakfast Clubbers and Howdy Do Ya, you know, first call to breakfast, you know, and then they have a march. Halfway through the show, they have a march around the breakfast table, you know, and the band would play a march. And that, to me, was radio. That's what I woke up to, and I thought, you know, I want people to be able to wake up to that. It's better than playing them a fucking record they've heard 20 times.
50 times.
Yeah. But, you know, you were on most of those Fairmont
most of those,
shows.
yeah. I think we did. Usually it was a Fairmont. I think we might have done one at...
no, we did Bimbos. A couple of years we did at Bimbos.
Yeah, that was a good one.
We changed orchestras on that one. Buddy Love became our orchestra. A very good orchestra, by the way. Just terrific.
Oh, yeah, that was just added so much. Having that orchestra was amazing. So
yeah, before it was Dick Bright, and he was very good, too. But I really thought that Buddy's band was just extraordinary. Closer to the kind of thing I remembered when I was on a kid, you know, on radio. So anyway, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, waxing about the old days, right? Well, you're how old now? You're 66. So you grew up about 10 years later, maybe 12 years later than I did from radio.
Yeah,
I still remember growing up and listening to Jack Benny and, you know, Bergen and McCarthy and Burns and Allen and The Shadow and all that stuff. You, about 12 years later, probably didn't grow up with that.
No, I did grow up, though. Jack Benny had a TV show, and I loved him when I was about 10 years old.
Yeah, well, that was just an extension of the radio show being done on TV, but very well done because he was television ready. He was a vaudeville actor, so he was capable of that. A lot of other shows they tried to put on TV from radio did not work, you know. But anyway, so I guess I yearn for the old days. Call me an old.
Well, what did work? Let's see, Benny. Dragnet came from radio, right?
Yes. Did it start on radio? No, I don't think so. I think they did it on TV and had a radio component at the time. But his first show was, as I said, Pat Novak for Hire out of San Francisco. So, but, you know. Hey, listen, another wonderful half hour of our life has been wasted.
Yearning for the past.
Yearning for the past with the incomparable Larry Bubbles Brown, who I wind up doing a lot of the talking because he encourages me to talk.
because you know so much.
Oh yeah, I know so much. What I know you could put in a thimble.
No, but this stuff's fascinating to me. The radio and the history of that. It's amazing.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Alex.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
I got to stop playing that one. Okay, I got to stop playing that one because you hear how I slowed it down and it just isn't right. Listen.
Celebrating 4 years.
You hear that music? Yeah. You hear this music?
Celebrating 4 years.
Now that's better. And that one.
Celebrating 4 years.
That's fine. Then we go here and it's a little off.
Celebrating 4 years.
But you can't hear it. Okay, well, anyway, I'm just having fun playing all our various imagers, we call them. Imagers. Yes, okay. Let me see here. Let me get our stuff online here. You know, I've had trouble with Skype the last couple of days. Not here on this show, but I do these interviews. You know, like I just did with Larry Bubbles Brown, and the problem is that. And I did one with my wife the other day, my ex-wife, Ronnie, the other day. And in the middle of it, it just dropped out. Just dropped out. Now, I use another line, so maybe that's the problem. Either that or it's Skype trying to fuck with people who don't want to change to their new system. So we'll see. Yeah, so far, this show, it hasn't broken down at all. So anyway, give us a call. It's time for you to call us. So we can talk about stuff with our citizen panel. And they will be here any moment now. I just feel it. I just feel it in my bones, okay? And come on, guys. Our number, in case you want to know what it is GabNet Live on Skype. If you want to know other ways to get a hold of us or how to get Skype or any of that information, you go over to gabnet.net, which is our website. Don't worry, you'll still be able to see me talking and the citizen panel talking over there, because over there, we also run the show live at GabNet Live. So, at gabnet.net. Yeah, okay. And there's a whole thing on the right-hand side of the page that'll tell you exactly all the hoops you have to go through to be able to get to be part of a citizen panel on this program, which looks tonight like something nobody calls to be on. So I'll just sit here drinking my coffee, and I've just been so woozy the last couple of days. I've got to stop. I don't know. Here's my conundrum. I keep talking about this gabapentin that my doctor gave me for the numb feet, and it does make it feel moderately better, okay? But what it did made me incredibly nice, and so I've been very sweet towards my lovely wife, and especially in these trying times with her accident, I've just been a gem, and I'm afraid to go off it for fear that I'll be a terrible person again. So I don't know what to do. But being on it makes me woozy. It makes me forgetful. Like last night, I accidentally forgot to start the stream for the audio at the beginning of the program. Hi there, Jeff.
How are you?
Do you find that as you get older, they give you drugs that they wouldn't give you when you were younger?
Oh, I have all kinds of drugs now.
Yeah, but I mean stuff that they wouldn't have given you when they were younger to solve a problem. Nobody would give a 25-year-old gabapentin, even if they had epilepsy, I think, which is what the drug was originally created for.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't have that experience.
Well, anyway. So
when I was younger, I didn't have to take any medications other than maybe an aspirin once in a while.
So simple tasks I do every day by repetition here, I find I'm fucking up on. But it could be because I'm so sick and tired of the repetition that I kind of go into a brain fart. Hello, Phil.
Hey, how you doing? I've found that I go to pick things up and I drop them, that I just don't have the dexterity that I used to have.
Really? I don't drop stuff. That's not my problem. I do bump into walls occasionally, but they say that this drug can do that to you,
Yeah. No, it's just last couple of years. I just don't have the ability to do the fine. What is it? Motor skills.
Yeah, I've been looking for a group of people to aim this show at that will be an exclusive for those people, and I finally decided what it has come by attrition is the Old Fart program.
Yeah, what were you doing this afternoon? I got something that said you were live streaming.
Yeah, I was playing. I was playing around with live stream, and I accidentally, when I turned it on, didn't turn off the notify viewers. So I did more of it, and I didn't notify the viewers. But I apologize to anybody who was put off by that. I was trying to work with their switcher and see if I could make it work well.
Yeah,
but it uses up. The trouble is, it eats up CPU like crazy, and so this machine really can't hack it. So I have to buy a machine. And you know what I had go bad on me tonight? But it's one of the oldest ones I have. I have storage drives that are on my network. They're network drives. And I had one go out, and it's got to be 6 years old, 7 years old. And I don't know what was on it. So I don't even know what I lost. Thank God it wasn't the porn drive. What would I do if the porn drive went?
Hey, what do you do with the porn drive now?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot, yeah. You remember when you used to be able to do that? Anyway.
No. It's a fleeting memory.
Yeah, yeah. Now it takes you all night to do what you used to be able to do all night. Yeah, it's the old thing. But I've got to move a lot of, I have a whole disc full of films and things like that I took off from here, and I really have to make a backup drive for that. But it's on a network drive, and I have to make just a regular backup drive of it. But now you go out, you can get 8 terabyte drives for $119 at Costco, but you can't find these network drives anywhere. So
those are the 54. They must be the 5400 RPM drives, not the 7200 RPM drives. Right. Because I just bought 3 tonight. I bought 3 4 terabyte drives, and they were $112 each.
And that was where
they were the faster 7200.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. I haven't even looked to see what they were, but I assume they're probably 5400.
They have to be at that price.
But I don't care if I use them just for storage. I don't care.
I plan on using them for streaming and 4K streaming. So I wanted the faster drives.
Okay, but streaming on what?
Well, to my through my Fire TV into my TVs.
Yeah, but how do you do it? They're not network drives, are they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, no, I bought a QNAS tonight.
QNAS.
Yeah, it's a RAID 5 NAS device.
Okay, so it's called QNAS, and it's only $112.
No, the drives were. I paid $169 for the device, which is what made me buy it, because the price was so amazing.
Yeah.
And then I went out looking for the drives for it tonight, and I just got the drives.
How is that spelled? Is that just
QNAP is the name of the company.
QNAP?
Yeah, it's for sale right now. It's
QNAP.
Give me a second, and I'll tell you exactly. But I believe it's QNAP.
That's similar to my Drobo, except a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
so? I bought it.
QNAP? NAP?
Yeah. On Woot.com, under computers, their thing today is a QNAP TS 328 personal cloud.
Yeah, but how do they spell
system.
QNAP?
QNAP.
Oh, QNAP. Okay.
And I read the reviews on it. I watched some video reviews on YouTube, and the price is $170, and it holds the 3 drives, and it's got 2 1 gig ports on the back, which is awesome. It's got some USB 3 ports on it.
So one of them's a backup drive, and the other two.
Nope. just 3 drive. You could do it that way. You can do a RAID 1 and have 2 drives, and then have 1 drive as a as a single. Or yeah, you're right. In a RAID 3, you're going to get. So I put 4 terabyte drives in there. I'm going to get 8 terabytes of space.
Right.
If I configure it in a RAID 5, which I'm planning on doing.
How hard is this to configure?
Very, very simple to configure. If you look at the video,
suppose I just want to. It'll take up to 3 drives, right?
Takes 3 drives.
Suppose I want those 3 drives to be online. You can just do it so all 3 are online.
Then it's just
yes, that'd be RAID
drives.
0, right? That'd be JBOD, just a bunch of disk.
Oh, okay. And then you just
do it that way too.
Just put that into your Ethernet, and they all show up, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, the box I've got has 5 drives.
Yep.
And 2 of them are backup, so it's RAID 6.
Right. You're doing a RAID 6. It's 5 drives, so it's going to be 3 plus 2.
You're confusing me here. This is not what I care about. What I care about is I go to woot.com,
Woot. WOOT.com. And look under. It's actually it used to be an independent thing, but Amazon bought it up about 4 years ago or 3 years ago. And if you go to woot.com and you look under the computer, across the top they have all these different deals. If you go under computer, you'll see that the deal of the day is this QNAP device. And if you sign in with your Amazon, when you go to buy it, if you sign in with your Amazon credentials, it's free shipping.
Well, I'll check into it. That's interesting.
Because they own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to YouTube. Well, first go to this is what I did. I saw it there and I was like, that's a really good price.
But do I have to buy it today, or will they be on sale tomorrow?
No, it'll be gone tomorrow. It goes away at 1 a.m. It goes away every night at midnight Central Time.
Yeah.
The deals all change.
Yeah.
So when they sell out, they're sold out. If they don't sell out at 1 a.m. Eastern Time, the deals all change over to the next day's deals. So if you don't get it tonight, you won't get it.
So, but it'd just be like $20 more, right?
They won't sell it. It's not available for sale. This is it's just not available for sale. It's taken down.
Well, wait a minute. If I were to look at my let me see here. I'm looking at I'm on Amazon. What if I put in QNAPs? Let's see if they have it on here.
It's probably for sale for like $249
What's the number on it?
It is the QNAP.
Is it a 4-bay?
TS328 Personal Cloud NAS. It's a 3-bay.
Well, this is a T. They have the TS. They don't have that one. But let me see here. QNAP. And, oh, yeah, they're kind of expensive. Yeah, no, wait a minute. QNAP, U.S. Personal Cloud with how many drives is it? Doesn't say how many. A Personal Cloud NAS. It looks like it has 2 drives there. I'll
here's the 328 on Amazon. It's $229.
$229.
Yeah.
What's the name of it again? The TS.
QNAP TS-328.
328. Oh,
it's $229 on Amazon right now.
Yeah. Well, I see the 328. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me go here. There we go. Oh, the 328. It's $229. You're right, and it's got 3 bays on it. It's very nice. Yeah.
That's the exact same model. Now, what I did was I went to YouTube and I watched all of the videos for the reviews on the QNAP TS328.
Yeah.
Just to see if they give you some great insight. They show you how they set them up. They give you all kinds of information, and you listen to people give you an idea of how feature rich it is, and all the things you could do with it, and it's pretty cool.
And so you can take you just put you put hard drives in. You just take a normal hard drive out of the box and slap it in there, right?
That's right.
That's right. And the faster the better is what you're saying.
That is correct.
Yeah, but you could use the 5400 if you wanted to.
Sure can.
Oh boy. Well, maybe I'll get this. If I can't get it in time tonight, I'll I'll go. So, and if can you order it using your Amazon account, basically?
Yeah, you would log in as soon as you press when you go to the Woot page and you click I want to buy one or I want one or whatever it says. It'll put it in your cart, and then you'll click checkout, and then it'll say use your Amazon. You can create an account on Woot's site, and then they'll charge you I think $6 to ship. Or it'll say use your Amazon Prime account and get free shipping.
And you can also use your credit card that's on Amazon?
Amazon.
I don't think it has access to that. I don't. That's a good question. It's not.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to play with that.
I'll check it when I'm over with. But you said midnight Central Time. We're not. Well, we're off.
So 1 a.m. our time.
Well, I'd have to make a
every night at 1 a.m. So you'd have to do it pretty quick.
Well, let me see here. Let me go to Woot.com. Let's see what we get here. Woot.com. What's the basis for this Woot.com as a site?
I learned about Woot.com probably about 12 years ago, and it used to be a deal a day. The way it worked was there was only one deal, and when it ran out, it could run out 10 minutes after they put it up, or it could run all day. And people would run to get there at midnight or 1 a.m. to see what the deal was. And you never knew what it was going to be. Typically, it was technology kind of stuff, and I've bought many, many things over the years on Woot's website. Then Amazon bought it, and then they increased it. They put all these different categories, kitchen and electronics and clothing and all kinds of stuff. And those are all one deal a day. And then there are some other deals. If you scroll down the page, you'll see under electronics there's a whole bunch of other deals which will be there until they sell out. But the main deal under each expires at 1 a.m. Eastern Time.
Proceed to checkout. Okay. $169.99. Okay, Amazon. Log in with Amazon. There's my login. Sign in with a secure server. I just signed into Amazon. Okay. Yeah. Woot email account? No. Continue to Woot.com. What? Have a Woot account? No. Continue to Woot.com. Okay. But I wanted to check out and check that out. Enter your shipping and payment information. Oh, okay. So you got to do all that. Wait a minute. Guys talk to each other. I'm going to go get my wallet. Okay.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
So what's in the news today? Anything new and exciting? I didn't really hear anything that was all that earth-shattering today. It was fairly quiet, except Trump did a Fox News interview. Did you hear that?
No. Well,
he was on Fox News tonight, and they threw him softball questions. The whole, he won't go on a real network where they would challenge him. So he went on Fox, and the woman just kind of like lobbed some softballs at him, and he started saying things. Well, I never directed Cohen to do anything illegal. I
don't think that matters.
You're making
of course it doesn't
money
matter.
for Woot. They should give you something for free.
Yeah.
Let me see here. As I'm going to, let me see here. My full name is Bennett Schwarzman. Okay. And
I'll attest to that.
Payment method. Let me
on
see.
time.
Good looks.
Okay, that's my address. Okay. Credit card number. I want to use this one. God, I love these things that automatically fill in for you. 19. There we go. Bill, my other shipping address entered above. No, Bennett Schwarzman, and I need post office box.
What's a Google Pixel 2? That just came up.
Under what?
Under.
That's
Woot.
a phone. That's a phone.
Oh.
Let me make sure that I have the billing address.
So Phil, you didn't know about Woot?
Nah.
Oh wow. I thought everybody knew about Woot.
No, I never.
Last night I didn't even know about Trump.
Okay.
It was they used to have a thing on Woot that I had never been successful in getting. They used to call it a bag of crap. And it would go up at 1 a.m. and everybody waited for a bag of crap because every bag of crap was different. You never knew what you were going to get, and it cost $5.99 for the bag of crap. And you never knew what you were going to get in it. People would report all kinds of fun things. They gave up on the bag of crap. Then they do woot-offs every once in a while. And a woot-off is where, in fact, I think there are a couple of woot-offs going on tonight on a few of those. Anytime you see on Woot, where you see like siren kind of things, undershirt, gourmet, and clearance, you see the lights above the
above woot-off. I see them. Yeah.
Yeah. So the woot-off means that those items keep changing all day long. And so that item might be there till it sells out. They're probably just getting rid of a lot of stock that they, that like if they have any of these Q-naps left over, it may wind up on a woot-off, right? And so they change it. They change every hour. They'll change every 15 minutes. You never know when the categories are going to change. And so I think it's fun when there's a woot-off going on.
Now, you can get on clearance, they've got a Ring video doorbell, too. That looks interesting, except I don't need a doorbell. I'm in an apartment.
It's funny. It's not accepting my credit card.
Yeah.
And it is my credit card.
Yeah, okay. Isn't that the one you found?
No, this is my credit card, damn it. And they're not accepting it.
Try a different one. You use an American Express? Or
what's the error?
It just says it's not an accepted credit card or something like that. Hold on.
What card are you using?
I'm using my credit card that I use all the time.
Is it American Express or a Visa MasterCard?
It's a Visa.
Well, that should work.
I use Visa all the time there.
Again, your payment authorization was denied. That's ridiculous.
You have been declined.
No, this is the right thing.
You know what might have happened? You know what might have happened?
What?
You might have the credit card company might have declined it because they don't recognize the it's like, you never shopped there before. So that might have happened.
Yeah, you might have a security thing on your card that you might have to call and release. Try a different card.
No. Well, I can try a different card. Change shipping and payment. Let me see here. Edit. I want to use, let's try, let's try American Express. All right. Serve and save and continue. Save. Place your order.
You can get a trailer of crap.
There we go. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. There, it went through.
Yeah, you might have to call and get the other card released.
Activated, for that.
Well, anyway. Well,
they got to log in with Amazon.
Huh?
Yeah. If you log in with Amazon, you get free shipping.
Well, let me see what happens if I go to Amazon. And what do I need anyway? Coffee. Let's see. Pete's.
No. This is a little button at the bottom of the Woot thing that is permanent. You can move the website around, but it's on a green bar, and it says log in with Amazon.
Log in with
Amazon. I see. I know what you mean, yeah.
Like if you have Amazon Prime or something like that.
Right, but it might make it easier to log in.
No, I'm a Prime member. That's what it says. But anyway, hold on a second. Let me just make sure my credit card works here. This is, where is it? Amazon. Let me go to Pete's. Because I need to
buy the cake. You buy the Pete's K-Cups?
No. I buy the regular stuff. Let's see, that's Big Bang. I don't want that. Major Dickinson's. No, that's not what I want. Where is it?
I like the French roast on Pete's.
No, I use this other one. But where is it? It doesn't. Well, let me go to my orders here. This is very interesting radio, isn't it, folks? This is really incredible.
Podcasting.
Let me see here. Podcasting. Hershey's chocolate. No, I don't want that. Pete's. Here we go. The Alma de Tierra. There we go. Buy it again. Buy now with one click.
So you just don't go to Death Wish anymore, huh?
Yeah. Let me see here.
Death Wish coffee.
Yeah, no, that went through. Huh. Oh, well. Review or edit your order. There we go. And what credit card did I use? I used the Visa. Yeah. Yeah, we're okay. So I think I did it all right. Get mail. We'll check and see if everything went through okay in a moment. But anyway.
Can you check your American Express online and see if the charge went through?
Well, I'm sure it did.
Oh, okay.
But why it didn't accept my Visa, I have no idea. Maybe I had to give them that extra number and I didn't see it there or whatever. Anyway, get mail. Come on, where's it say that my thing went through on Amazon?
So, Rob, those drives you bought are, I bought red drives. There are different ones. There's blacks, there's reds, for a different amount of use, I guess.
I bought mine on Newegg.
That's a good place.
Yeah, they were the best price that I could find. I paid $360 for 3 of them.
That's good.
Really?
Yeah.
120 a drive.
Yeah.
And that's 4s. My 5 drives are 8s, but eventually, once I start filling up this thing a little bit, which I haven't, I'll get a second Drobo and turn this one into the backup and the newer Drobo with faster drives.
I bought the Seagate Constellation 7200 RPM, 128 meg cache, 6 gig drives. The 6 gig cache. No. 6 gig back end. That's the throughput of the drive. That's not the. They're 4 terabyte drives.
Yeah.
No, that's the throughput. The speed is 7200 RPM.
Yeah. The 5 drives I've got are 54s.
Yeah.
But eventually they're selling portable USB 3 and Thunderbolt, I think, drives that are 4 terabyte and SSD, and they're in the 200 and something range. So you can get these portable drives now as an SSD.
Yeah, I'm a little fearful of them yet for long-term storage. Because can you arrange them? Well, because they have a limited life, right? There's only so many You're not buying the enterprise ones; they're extremely expensive, so they have limited write capacity.
An SSD?
Then they wear out. Yes.
So it's not like the SSD hard drives that are in your Mac or something.
They have limited write capacity as well.
Oh.
But if you're looking to store something, in a laptop, how long you have a laptop for? Assuming that you've got archivable data, to me, that's going to be there for longer than your laptop is. So I'm a little bit more concerned about writes to the. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know that there's limited write capacity, and then they wear out.
Yeah.
So, and that's all. You could Google that. There's limited writes on them.
So how do you do away with an order?
What do you mean?
I'm trying to. I just placed another order just to see what happened, and I can't sign out of it.
Go to your. There's a box at the top, the shopping cart. Maybe you can go in there and turn the order into 0.
No, you can't turn the order into 0.
You mean you got something in your cart?
Yeah.
And you want to clear your cart?
Yeah.
You should be able to change the go to the cart and change either hit delete or change the quantity to 0.
No, there's no.
That's what I just said.
That's not. They don't have that ability for a quantity of 0.
Well, let me see. I want one, so I just put
remove.
that in my cart.
I found it.
Yeah, it's got to be there.
Yeah.
I just went to the cart and it's blank.
Yeah.
Oh no! Something came up here. Shopping cart 0 items.
Yeah, I removed it. Anyway.
They got the first generation Amazon Echo for $75 right now.
Yeah.
But I don't need that. It's the Echo Show, with the video screen.
Yeah, the smaller one.
First generation.
Yeah, that's a smaller one. I was thinking of getting the new bigger one and putting it in the office here because I can call Skype with it.
You can?
Yeah, I can use Skype with it.
Huh.
I do it all the time from the kitchen.
Maybe that's what your friend Bubbles needs.
Remember, I think I talked to you one day from the kitchen, right, Phil?
Yeah.
By Skype. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. So.
Well, since this show has gone so tech, I'm not going to ask you how you turn off the Hero 4. I remember how to turn it off. I turned it on, but I can't turn it off.
I think you take the button on the front, and just hold it down. Just
the mode button?
Yeah, hold it.
Yeah. Okay. Now nothing. Oh, it turned off.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Anybody else have any technical things you'd like to ask me?
Yeah.
Call Gabnet for the technical questions and answers.
Yeah.
Listen,
$9.85.
I need a new catheter for my arrhythmia. Can you guys work on
that? Oh, yeah.
Now,
sure why would you? Now, I always thought catheters was something you stuck up your, how do you use it in your heart?
Oh, to get into your heart, usually make a small incision down.
Oh, like they did with me when they did the angioplasties.
Sure.
A catheter is only an entry. Yeah, so it could be anywhere.
Just
okay.
Usually it's a pretty flexible.
You don't do it though, do you? You don't do that to yourself. Oh, I was going to say, you catheterize your heart. Wow.
No, but I'm trying to get. I have this arrhythmia thing, and it changes. So a lot of times I'm like trying to go upstairs, and I don't have enough energy to get upstairs. I can go down.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to.
We're not talking sex here, are we?
No.
Oh, okay.
But anyway.
Well, you certainly put us off on that. Now I'm all worried about my credit card because nothing's come through on Amazon yet. But it
might not come through.
There was
on
no
Amazon.
option on. What's interesting on Woot, there was no option for eBay, not eBay, but what do you call PayPal?
That's a good. Let's see. I don't think I've ever used PayPal there. I had an account because I've had a Woot account for years, and then recently when they started using Amazon, I've just switched, and so I always use my Amazon. Never used PayPal.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe that they wouldn't though.
Yeah.
Most major websites have it.
There's no connection to eBay because this is owned,
not
you said,
eBay.
by Amazon.
We didn't say eBay. We said PayPal.
I know, but is PayPal got something to do with eBay?
No,
it used to.
Oh, okay.
It used
yeah, and I thought you said that this Woot was owned by Amazon, so I assumed that one wouldn't support the other.
Yeah, probably not. That's true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, but PayPal, a lot of these companies take I think even Amazon takes PayPal.
Really?
Yeah,
I
don't think so.
Huh?
I haven't had any success.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
They don't like each other.
Yes.
Because, Bezos wants to own their ass. If you can't own their ass, then he wants nothing to do with them. And Bezos can go blow his brains out in the closet for all I care.
Why?
Because he's a fucking monopolistic cocksucker. That's why.
No, he's
Treats his
not.
employees like shit. The only reason why he's able to pay his lowest rung employees $15 an hour is because of pressures from people like Bernie Sanders.
The trouble with you, Brian, Brian, is you have these attitudes about things, and they're many times unreasonable. Are you stunned? Are you stunned? Are you stunned? Well, they're unreasonable because, to begin with, it isn't that Amazon involves themselves in monopolistic practices. They happen to be a company that's very, very popular, but they don't do practices which attempt to put other people out of business.
I think they do just
put other people out of business
by their existence.
Well, no, but here's the thing. How, if you're a company and you become very successful, by virtue of that, you are going to have a large share of the market. Now, the question becomes, in the case of, for instance, antitrust against Microsoft, the antitrust was them not allowing other browsers onto their system.
Right.
You remember that?
No, their antitrust was that their browser came with the hardware.
Yes, but
you could put other browsers on.
Yeah, you
the
could put other
system.
browsers on, but you had to go get them. They didn't suggest them.
or by gaining a competitive advantage over other competitors via tax breaks and other
No, that's
resources that they parasitically take advantage of.
If you're
But
running,
you would be against every big company if you take that attitude about everything.
I do take that attitude, and for the record, to a great extent, I am. I think it's abysmal. I call it what they call a form of competitive practice. I call economic discrimination.
do you have to do business with Amazon?
I'm sorry.
Do you have to do business with Amazon?
In this capacity where I'm at now, no, I do not.
Do you do business with Amazon?
I have in the past, like years ago.
But you don't anymore?
Not.
Well, then to you, they're not a monopoly.
It's a convenience.
But you have to shop. You can't get away from these huge conglomerates. I pick and I'm like you in a respect that, like, I refuse to shop at Walmart because to me,
that's exactly
Walmart,
what Amazon is. Walmart on steroids.
No. You're right to some degree, but Walmart is way worse because Walmart goes into a town
and puts other people out of business,
and puts and lowers all their prices, puts everybody out of business, and then they decide they want to pull out and they leave this big box there. Just Google "I hate Walmart" and go enjoy what you see there. Because you will, just based on your personality, you will enjoy what you read, the horror stories about Walmart.
Oh,
Alex, I sent you a book.
Walmart, don't get me wrong.
I sent you a book called The Big Box Swindle.
Yeah.
And my company's mentioned in it, but and that's why I had a couple of copies. But it's very interesting. It's exactly what Rob is talking about right now. Is that these big boxes move in, they build a building outside of town that usually has about a 15-year life, and then they put the retailers out of business that were downtown. Then eventually these retailers migrate out to where these big boxes are, and then within about 15 years, the big box shuts that store down, shutters it, and then moves back to the downtown area, which is blighted, and opens up there.
So let me ask this follow-up question, Phil. How is Amazon not doing the same thing, only worse, in that they don't even have as much of a physical presence?
Well,
they're offering, Brian, they're offering their platform to other merchants. So, for instance,
Walmart offers their platform to,
I understand. You asked me,
smaller manufacturers.
How are they doing it? And it's just that if you're a merchant and you have something to sell, you can sell that through Amazon, and it gives you another platform to do business. Now, I don't do that only because I'm too lazy, but
there's also the good things that Amazon does, and one of them is they bought Whole Foods and lowered prices, so everybody can shop there, not just the wealthy.
Yeah, but their containers, I've just found out, are giving people cancer. Did you hear that the paper containers that they're using at Whole Foods for the fruit bar has cancer-causing?
Wait a minute. How does paper have cancer-causing properties in it?
It's what it's lined with.
What's your source for that, Phil? Not that I doubt it.
It was like NBC or CBS. It was one of those news feeds that I get on the phone.
Whole Foods.
But you can't. That was probably developed by Whole Foods before Amazon purchased it. It's not.
No,
Amazon
I understand. I'm just throwing that one out there. Hey, they know now, and it's just a recent discovery that that these food containers for their food bar, their hot food bar.
Yeah, I've eaten from them a couple of times.
My understanding is Walmart allows merchants, smaller independent or smaller merchants to put their products on Walmart shelves. They gouge the shit out of them.
Wait a minute, here it is, folks. Believe it or not.
I was right.
Yeah, well,
And
Whole
you
Foods
strengthen my
hailed
position.
for high standards for healthy food, ranked worst in a study of 5 major U.S. grocery chains for chemicals it uses in packaging at its popular hot food bar. In response, the company says it's removed all the coated paper products in question and has started a search for new biodegradable packaging. So they responded to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody gets to take a drink.
Nobody gets to take a drink. You were right. You were right.
I just read something on the internet.
But it's being corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Yeah. But all I'm saying about Amazon is that
Wait a minute.
that Amazon became a huge company, not based on them trying to put other people out of business to get out of the way of them. Right. Which is the case with Microsoft, which is the case with Walmart, which is which is the case with a lot of these companies that are anti-competitive. Is Amazon too big? Probably.
And it's also the case with Tony's Comics.
Yeah, he's got the market cornered on valuable comics.
Right.
Yeah. No, but you know what I'm saying is that what happens is sometimes these companies become too big before they know it. You know, and yes, it's the government's job to take them to task and to try and say, hey, you're too big, you're anti-competitive, you're doing this, you're doing that. But nobody's come up against Amazon saying they're anti-competitive.
Except maybe Sears, because they just shuttered another 100 stores.
Well, what they did, here's what all they did by their popularity was kill them all. That's really what they killed. You know,
but the internet was doing
the
that
only thing
anyway.
they can't do that a mall can do is sell yogurt.
No, you can't. Right, you can't
and have
stop,
air conditioning.
You can't. Right, you can't stop progress and change. You know, if it wasn't Amazon, it would be another company that would be selling all of this stuff over the internet. And quite frankly, I think as far as when you compare like a Walmart to Amazon, I think Walmart loses every day of the week,
you know,
including Sunday.
They fucked up my favorite store, which is Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Nobles are closing down all over the place. Even the one in Walnut Creek closed. And
but you see, Barnes & Noble, unfortunately, that's something.
It's over.
That's something that's gone the way of the dodo. I mean,
But
it would have died anyway.
Yes.
Because digital publishing has become the order of the day, and they don't sell digital publishing at the stores at Barnes & Noble, but BarnesandNoble.com exists.
Yeah, but they had these little readers that they would sell.
Kindle
or something.
And they still sell them.
Yeah,
they still sell them, but the fact is the bookstore is going the way of the dodo because of technology, and it's not because of Amazon. Amazon's one of the reasons why, but it's just that you get your books digitally now.
I can drink a nutritious meal that's made in a packet. Or
by the way,
eat a steak.
those books I'd much rather
read a book in paper.
Find me a record. Hold on a second. Find me a record store.
Right.
They were in Barnes and Noble.
Well, the fact is, you don't have record stores anymore. You don't have bookstores anymore.
They had CDs.
But Amazon isn't the only one that sells records and books. iTunes sells records and books. Okay? A lot of other companies sell records and books, although they're not as popular as Amazon and Apple. But nevertheless, they do. Yes, Brian.
I'm just thinking. I hear Phil here talking, and this is to Phil more than anyone else. You know, you missed the experience of hanging out at a Barnes and Noble, though, being that they're private industry. They're probably they've been outcompeted with these new mediums of entertainment. So why not consider increasing the funding to our country's to our nation's public libraries? And because the public library I have has a little coffee shop inside of it.
Yeah, that's something new. That's something new.
Why not do that instead? Because it's important for human
Jeff wants to say something.
My oldest son is an architect, and he just redid a book place, just exactly what you're talking about. It was part of the local town, and they decided to expand it. Which is, you would think like, wow.
Libraries have to reinvent themselves.
Yeah, so they redesigned the thing.
One of my customers, I deal mostly with public sector customers, state, local government, education, and libraries and such. And I was in a library recently talking to a customer, and they were giving us the plans for what they're doing to their library. The amount of books in a library is going to shrink. He said we're going to have like one area with books, and everything else is going to be all different kinds of media and all. I mean, it's really, libraries are
that you still rent, but you can't own. I mean, you can rent like digital publications from my library. You just can't own it.
I want to bring back
encrypted and whatnot, that you borrow that digital copy of, say, Stormy Daniels' book, but you can't on ebook.
I want to bring back the Dewey Decimal System.
It's not gone. I made a joke. I made a joke about that. I said, remember the Dewey Decimal System? Because we still use it. It's just not as prevalent. Yeah, they still use it.
Yeah, I got in grade school. They used to teach you how to use the Dewey Decimal System.
Absolutely. Remember the card catalog?
Oh, right, exactly.
No more card catalog.
Talking about kind of goes hand in hand with the expansion of broadband services and a national internet that's accessible to everyone, whether it's in New York City or in some obscure rural community in Kansas.
Yeah, but like, I was saying earlier, record stores don't exist anymore, except maybe nostalgia record stores,
Maybe,
Maybe.
I haven't seen one.
They're
using... tell you the one that
was Sam Goody.
There used to be a great one on Long Island, and they used to advertise all over New York radio, Whirling Disc Records in Farmingdale.
Yeah.
Popular place. I used to know those guys because I worked in radio, and they used to advertise on our station. The husband died. The wife closed the store on Main Street in Farmingdale, and she now, if you go to Whirling Disc Records online, she runs it out of her house. But she had collectible 40. You could get any 45, all collectible music, and then of course the hits of the day. But it was a great record store. Just unfortunately, couldn't afford the rent in downtown, Farmingdale anymore.
When I lived in New York, there was Sam Goody. But when I moved to California, San Francisco, there was Tower Records.
We had Tower City, too.
Which was fun. It was...
Tower's chain.
Yeah.
We have half-price books.
But the main one was down in the Fisherman's Wharf area.
Oh, the main one was there?
Yeah. Wasn't it? Was that the main one, Alex?
I don't think so. I thought I saw a thing.
What was this? The tower. Yeah, big tower at Fisherman's Wharf.
Was that the main one?
No, the main one. Do you know what? No, you know what the main Tower Records was?
Was that in L.A.?
No.
Yeah, Los Angeles.
Nope.
I watched a documentary on that, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
Sacramento, California. It was a record store that was built right next door to the Tower Theater. And it was called Tower Records, and that's where it started. And then they started. It was so popular that they started putting it all around.
Netflix has a great special on Tower Records.
I saw that. Yeah, but it started in Sacramento, California.
I knew it was West Coast.
Yeah. So I just assumed that the one in North Beach, because it was big and it was famous and a lot of people used. I just saw a thing on John Means's Facebook where he had a record at Tower Records, which was featured on the wall outside, and then there was another group. I forget what he called that was in front of it, getting their picture taken, and it was.
You had to buy to get your picture on that wall.
You had to what?
You had to buy the space.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess the company that John did the album for bought the space.
But that's how they made their money. That's how Tower made a little extra money, was they sold the space and they had all the record album covers painted on the front of their store.
Very cool.
And so you thought it was just a way of them saying, "Hey, come on in, we got this album." No,
promoting it.
Also, I'll put another arrow in your balloon. The Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
You pay for those.
I was just going to say, so it's like the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, you pay for those.
You got to pay for your
You
stuff.
don't get. They don't say, "Hey, they say
stuff.
we'd like to put you on the Hollywood Walk of Fame," and you go, "Oh, that's wonderful." And they go, "It'll cost you like $35,000 or whatever it costs to put in the star."
Oh,
You know, so you pay for it.
It's kind of tacky. If you
Yeah.
pay.
So they
Why
busted
Trump was
up
so
Trump
pissed off
star.
he had to pay for so many of them.
Huh?
I can imagine you pay for one, then if they bust it up, aren't they insured to replace it?
Well, nobody really wants to bust up Humphrey Bogart's star.
Yeah, nobody's going to hear that.
Nobody.
Give him time. Me Too people will be after him.
Well, yeah.
Mike Bowen's going to have a star in the Walk
Oh,
of
by the
Fame.
way, I got a story here for you. This one's interesting. This is interesting. You know, I still haven't found out what it still hasn't said. You bought a thing at
Root?
No, not at Root. No, I didn't get anything from them either. Yeah,
I true.
I didn't get anything from
That's
either.
why I said go in and check your credit card.
No, my credit card, my Amex went through, Phil.
How do you know it went through?
Because they said it went through.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
Okay. It's the other one that they couldn't get to go through, and it's probably something in their situation because my card is fine. You know.
yeah.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. But no. So they haven't even
Walk of Fame.
My Amazon purchase hasn't been mentioned there. Anyway, where are we? Okay. So my glasses just broke. Damn it! All the
Those
hell.
readers.
Huh?
Readers.
Yeah. Let me see here. Where's the other one? Ah, here's the other one. There we go. Here we go. All right. I'll use this one and I'll glue that one together tomorrow. Anyway.
Just put tape on it.
Yeah, right.
Get a pocket protector.
Right. Get a pocket protector. Now I have to clean my glasses because these glasses don't exactly work. Okay, here we go.
Amazon, I got these 5 of them for $12.
Yeah.
Really? The federal
see those
Amazon.
thin ones.
Here's one for you.
No, these are just like five different. You know, they got one set is dark.
There are these
One's power
ultra
or
thin
something.
ones that you can put in your
Can I
wallet.
mention this
Yeah.
story?
What's that?
Go ahead.
Oh boy, this show is organized tonight.
It started
I
out
thought you were
strong.
looking for tape.
The Federal Communications has had a long-standing ban on mergers among the big 4 broadcast television networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox. However, Reuters reports that the agency voted today to open a new review of U.S. media ownership rules and take comments on whether the government should end its prohibition on the mergers.
Oh, boy.
The report notes the FCC asking whether the rule remains necessary to promote competition, localism, or viewpoint diversity. FCC Chairman Ajit Pai, asshole, motherfucker, cocksucker,
Sandy
said,
Dick Hair Pie, the toilet skin twat.
yeah, said the commission is teeing up on a number of questions and keeping an open mind on whether the rules still make sense. The FCC noted that a version of the rule barring dual ownership of the networks has existed since the 1940s and asked if the U.S. antitrust laws or other policies would serve as a sufficient backstop to prevent undue consolidation between or among the big 4 networks. Well, I mean, if that's the case, well, why not just leave your rule in place? Why do you have to remove it?
Because
they want to.
It works so well in the radio industry.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it really worked well. Yeah, deregulating the
An
radio.
Obama appointee, by the way.
Who?
Sandy Dick Hair Pie, the toilet skin
You're
twat.
absolutely wrong.
Obama didn't appoint him to the FCC.
He was appointed by Trump.
Hey, there's something else going on with the internet. In California, they want to tax.
And believe me, Brian, I know what I'm talking about. What?
Text messages. They want to tax
What?
text messages. And they said that the millions that they would raise from it would pay for phones for the poor.
I will allow any congressman or senator to vote yes on that proposal if they can say text tax 10 times fast.
Yeah. Well, they're saying that a text message is basically an email, and you can't tax emails. So, but that's what they want to do in California.
How are you going to text a tax?
Because they'll have a.
I can't even say it once. Okay.
They'll have a monthly fee that's at the bottom of the bill. So, maybe it'll be 80 cents or something that will. That'll be on the bill.
Yeah, but I'm poor and I can't afford the tax.
Well, I guess you can't text either.
And that means all the crap texts you get, especially now, you're starting to see. At least I am spam texts.
I haven't gotten any
They're also
spam
talking
texts
about that, making spam texts illegal. That I'd go for.
Make all spam.
Hey, I got Robo Killer now. I'm a happy guy. But I'm using their standard. This call has been answered by Robo Killer, and it's spam. Whatever the default message is. Which one are you using?
I don't use any of them particularly. I just let them choose. It doesn't matter.
Oh, so it's a random one.
Yeah. I don't know if it's working or not. I know I'm getting a lot less robocalls.
I'm not getting any.
But it doesn't come up that they block them either. So I don't know whether they're doing it or it just as a matter of form it does it.
If you go to their app, you can see here.
Your Amazon for Pete's Coffee went through.
Oh, right. But you can see here on Robo Killer all the calls that it blocks, and it not only blocks them, it records them, so you can hear if.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I have it. Yeah, I
turned
you on to it.
You told me about it.
Yeah. It's okay. But anyway, getting back to these mergers. Yes, Brian.
Yeah, he was appointed as chairman of the SEC by Donald Trump. I'll give you that. But he was appointed by Barack Obama at the recommendation of Mitch McConnell in May of 2012.
But that was to serve on the FCC. As the chairman of the FCC, he was appointed by Trump.
Right.
But to serve in the SEC, he was an
yes,
Obama
but
appointee.
that is not a point of power, because at that time, Obama wanted to put a Republican on there because it was filled with Democrats, and he felt that while the Democrats would prevail, that there should be someone from the other side in there to keep the Republicans happy.
Well, Clinton had the same kind of managerial style, chaotic managerial style, they say. So I won't.
How did he have chaotic managerial style? You come up with these. You're as bad as Phil when it comes up to this kind of stuff.
It was on a History Channel documentary on the 40th. What is it? Which 41? 42nd president of the United States. That was what they considered his managerial style would be, because he had people from various backgrounds and ideologies.
Oh, I thought you said something other than that. You were saying that, but no, he believed, he definitely
Ears,
did.
Alex.
Huh?
Ears, Alex. Use them.
Oh, fuck you.
Eat shit.
Yeah. Nah, he's just ready to jump the gay guy.
What? Yeah, I'm ready to jump the gay guy.
Maybe younger than Tony, Alex, but I'm not like him. I'm not some jelly spine.
Oh, don't.
Oh, now don't go after members of the citizen panel.
That's what I'm here for.
That's what he's there for.
I got my mother to attack me.
No, but anyway, come down on him like a barrel of bricks.
Anyway, I just am
Don't work with me.
This whole idea of doing away with the ban is ridiculous, because I would agree to people who want to say that there are more powerful things in play now than broadcast television like Netflix. But nevertheless, I just think that we should keep that in play. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't impinge on these companies. It doesn't put them in a negative position to compete with everybody else by not being able to buy up another company.
See, I personally believe that you can find, if they want to do this, because they want to, they want to throw a bone to the media conglomerates, that you can find the statistics that will say that not allowing the merging of these companies is hurting them and not allowing them to compete so well with the Netflixes of the world. And I will bet you dollars to donuts 5 years from now, you'll see that happen.
Well, yeah, but to compete against Netflix isn't a matter of having more power. It isn't like Netflix went out and consolidated with a whole bunch of other organizations. In fact, there hasn't even been a hint of Netflix trying to buy up another company. You know, with all the billions of dollars they have at their disposal, they're just investing it in programming.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
When you were talking to the Bubbles thing tonight, you mentioned Play TV, and you mentioned, buying that building and so forth. When you were doing Play TV, do you have any idea what the size of your audience was?
Oh, it was negligible. Negligible.
Was it live or pre-recorded?
It was live.
So it was not a saved thing like you can save a podcast.
Right. This was 1999.
Yeah.
This was doing live programming on the internet, which very few people had they still had dial-up. They still had dial-up in those days.
Yeah, 300 baud.
We put out a 300 kbps signal so that it was a high quality signal, but we also put out a very slow one so it would work on dial-up. But it was a very small picture.
So once it was broadcast, it was done.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did they generate income that would have supported,
we didn't generate
building?
income. We were using a piece of equipment that was their prime product called the Trinity
toaster.
The Trinity. No, the toaster was a precursor to that, and the Trinity. They were using this as an example of what you could do with the Trinity.
So
and they got a lot of publicity out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was okay. No, when you were talking, about, you said play, and it made me think of that thing you were talking about, and I was just wondering, I had never heard of it before, in 1999, and I've had a computer since the early '80s.
But it was out there, but we were putting out a stronger signal than most people could pick up. Okay, right. I think maybe you could get this signal if you had. I think the best thing you could get then was DSL. If you had a DSL, you could pretty much pick up. You could get the bandwidth, catch the bandwidth. But that's it was all a matter of doing stuff really early. It's my old theory in life that you should never be. And I used to always like trying to be the first in everything, right? But it never got me anywhere because you don't want to be the first in anything. You want to be the second in something.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Or you want to own the patent.
No, but there's no patent on what we were doing. The method of communication was using the internet. There was no patent to that. But you don't want to be the first person because you want to be the person who imitates the first person because he's going to be the one that's going to be successful at it. It's like
the Chinese stealing our intellectual property.
Well, we hear about online services, but, AOL was only popular for a short amount of time. Somebody else came up with a better idea, And so you don't necessarily want to be the first. In fact, the first wasn't even AOL. There was, what was
CompuServe.
It was CompuServe, but there was something.
And Prodigy.
Prodigy, that's the one I was trying to think of.
There was a time when there wasn't any of those people, and you had to type in some long address in order to contact.
There were billboards. They were billboards. Remember the billboards?
Oh, the billboard services.
Local billboards.
Yeah.
I miss the chat rooms, honestly. The instant messengers and all that bullshit. I miss those days.
Well, but you have those today. I mean, your Facebook Messenger is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, but you can't go.
Yeah, but
it doesn't seem you can go out and find new people.
No, they're all monitored by To Catch a Predator.
Yeah, because Jimmy Jr. John Schlong and Cuntalina Tina can't have parents that can't monitor their activities properly.
Yeah, everybody on there's a cop.
I never knew kids by that name, or anybody that named their kids that name.
Oh, they should. They should. That's a descriptive term because it's exactly what the fuck they are.
I see. Okay. God, you're bitter.
Holidays too.
What was the term? What was the term Bud had it? Bitter? A tad.
Somebody got chocolate.
Laugh. You agree to some extent or another. You agree with me.
What'd you say, Tony?
Somebody got chocolate in the stocking.
Yeah.
I got that once, and I was pissed.
What?
I said,
you got coal in your stocking?
She put coal in the stocking.
Your mother?
Your mother put coal in your stocking?
One year. I thought that was kind of mean. My sister,
was it a joke, or did she come out with the real stuff after?
She said Santa heard you say a bad word.
I wouldn't walk her to the bathroom. Just for that, I wouldn't walk.
For budget.
I wouldn't walk her to the bathroom anymore. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, just push her down the stairs.
I got my guitar that day.
Fuck you, Mom. Remember when you left coal in my stocking?
Well, that was mean.
But it was clean coal.
Find the toilet yourself.
It was.
Put some Clorox bleach in her saline solution.
Hell, if Marjorie put coal in my stocking, she'd be wearing 2 braces right now. You know.
It's full of shit.
I'm going to just tell you to stay warm.
Huh? What are you saying,
stay
Kevin?
Warm.
Kevin, what'd you say?
Sounds like that movie, Throw Mama from the Train.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm going to put you in traffic. I'm joking. Yeah.
A few things were happening today in the news. By the way, Phil, it's not looking good for your boy.
Yeah, it's
not
really
looking good.
I'll wait until there's due process.
Well, yeah, that was great. I'll wait till.
It wasn't looking good for Weinstein either, but it looks like he's going to get off.
Well, no, it doesn't look like he's going to get off, but he may get off with good behavior. Anyway, that would be weird. Wouldn't that be weird?
They wind up with 4 more years of a Republican. It may not be Trump, but it might be Pence or it might be someone else.
Yeah, well, the point is that that now this guy Pecker, every time I can't forget his name. I can forget a lot of names, but Pecker's name I can't forget. Comedy could not have come up with a better name for this guy at the National Enquirer.
Just like Anthony Weiner.
He must have had a fight when he was a kid.
I wonder if Pecker ever met Weiner.
Yeah,
Weiner, Pecker.
I'm sure he did.
If they ever had brunch with Boner.
Yeah,
they're all New Yorkers. Yeah, there's some.
No, they were out to get Boner.
Yeah.
Well, Boner's for marijuana legalization.
Yeah, did you see that? I've been hearing the ads.
Yeah, but I heard something about Boehner that he bought into marijuana.
Yeah, he's out doing lectures.
Yeah,
on, investment lectures.
He's selling the hemp.
Anyway, today, Pecker and the National Enquirer said that Trump was in the room with Jared. Was it? At the time that they were discussing the payments to this Playboy Playmate. That he was actually in the room.
Getting a boner with Pecker.
Hey, they're also talking about Jared being his chief of staff today.
Yeah. How do you like that one?
He's the only. Nobody else will do it. He's already fucked. He's fucked his son-in-law because he knows he's in the middle of this whole thing. Look, we only know just some breadcrumbs about what Mueller has on everybody, and the closer you get to Trump, the more it stinks.
It's not over till it's over.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys smell blood in the water, and you're circling the you're circling the dead fish.
Can you hear me? Right. Listen to me carefully, Phil. Damn fucking straight.
Yeah, well, sometimes you smell blood, but it's your own.
Would you bet on that? Really?
Would you make a bet? Would you make a bet right now, Phil?
I don't see him resigning. And
I didn't say that. We didn't say that.
I don't want him to resign.
Well, a lot of people are saying that's the only way he'll get out of it.
No, he wouldn't get out of it then. That'd be quicker that they could prosecute him. They can right now charge him with something if he leaves office.
He better win the next.
Charge him, but he can get pardoned.
Listen, I think he's very lucky, okay, that he became president of the United States, because had he not become president of the United States, he might be in jail right now.
Yeah, I disagree. Yep. I think he would have, all of this stuff wouldn't have happened. Right. Everybody loved Donald Trump. He was a media whore. He was a reality TV star. He lived a great life. He had Mar-a-Lago. What the fuck did he need all this bullshit for?
That's what he said. And, he said, hey, it's cost him a lot of money.
I'm sure it has. I'm sure it has, but he brought it on himself.
Well, since everybody else who's ever been president came out of it richer for the experience, I think he can too. Yes, Jeff.
You muted, Jeff.
Yes, Jeff.
I'm sorry. The president should really tell everybody that he really wants to spend more time with his kids.
He already is.
Yes. He returned Donnie Jr.'s gift back to him, so that speaks volumes of his character. He'll throw his children under the bus. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
What did he give him? A building in Russia?
No, Don Jr. said that he gave him like some kind of tie or something in 1 year Christmas gift, and then the following year or the following 2 years, he got the same gift back returned to him by his dad.
That's because
he's a re-gifter.
No, he knocked it off in China, and he just gave him one of the new Trump long ties. That's
Plus, I've been of the school of thought that Trump would throw his children under the bus to save his own ass.
See now, as much as I have a low opinion of him, I don't agree with that. I think for his family,
he would do anything.
Yeah, I believe that.
Do you really?
I don't know.
See, bro.
To save the daughter.
I don't know.
It's looking good for Manafort if Trump doesn't have anything to lose. I don't think Manafort will spend much time in jail.
Why?
Oh, because he'll pardon him.
Good luck with that. If he pardons him, he's really going to lose.
Only when if and when it's over.
Yeah, if it's over and then he does it, people are going to bitch and gripe, but it's not obstruction of justice.
Right.
However, when he says I'm thinking about it, like he has, okay, or I would consider it, that is kind of obstruction of justice. What he really should have said was, if he didn't want it to be obstruction of justice, is, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
He basically did. He says it's not off the table.
Yeah, he said it's not off the table. That's obstruction of justice. That's implying that you're willing to listen.
Well, yeah, and it's no different than
and that he's not. And we all know he wouldn't be willing to listen. We would not be willing to listen if Manafort squealed like a pig. So he's really, what he's doing is he's throwing out the offer that, hey, be a good boy on this deal, and maybe there's a pardon in it for you. That's obstruction of justice.
He can only be pardoned if it's federal.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah,
state,
all that shit that New York is doing. Yeah, I don't think he can be pardoned for it.
State crimes he can't be pardoned for.
You also can't be pardoned for capital offenses.
I don't know if you're right. Didn't he pardon that woman that Kim Kardashian came to the?
Yeah, the drug dealer.
Yeah, and
those are federal charges though.
Was that a federal charge?
Federal charges.
Really?
Well, it's worth a Google.
Yeah.
Google that.
If it was federal charges, then that point is made. If it's not federal charges, then he can.
How would a drug thing be a federal charge unless I guess it was crossed state lines?
Anything can be a federal charge. It depends on who gets you. Yes, Jeff.
But we should all remember that Nixon took the job of, rather than being fired, he decided to quit.
He resigned.
He resigned.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think
he
can do that too.
Yeah, but what happened immediately after he resigned? Gerald Ford pardoned him.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
now,
look at our vice president.
well, I mean, Pence could pardon him. Yeah.
Now,
Because obviously,
if something happened to Trump and something happened to Pence, the third in line after January would be
Pelosi.
the Speaker Pelosi.
Yeah.
So it says here the
Well,
pardon
that was
power. The pardon power of the president applies only to convictions under federal law.
Okay, so do you know if this gal, the
well,
Kardashian,
she would have had to have been.
It had to have been because that's the rule.
Yeah. He couldn't.
So he
pardon.
can't pardon state. Now governors can pardon state.
Well, yeah, I guess if he runs for governor,
Separation of powers
he
and
could beat
whatnot.
Cuomo. He could beat Cuomo.
Oh, he could.
Oh yeah.
Not in New York. Remember, remember
Isn't
how
Cuomo
this?
going to time out?
Huh?
Doesn't Cuomo term out?
I think he probably will term out next time. Yeah. I
So the governors in New York State have three terms?
No,
I don't
I
know.
don't think so. I think he's only done one other before this, if I'm not mistaken.
Really? I thought
Yes,
he did.
absolutely, because you had, what's his name, the guy who, client
Oh,
number
the blind
9.
guy.
No, client number 9. The blind guy's my friend, Patterson.
Yeah.
But
Right,
then he
and-
took over because, what's his name?
Went to the hooker.
The sheriff of Wall Street became
Elliot
Elliot
Spitzer. Is that his
Spitzer.
name?
Yeah, so he's only had one term.
And Spitzer
And now
is
he's been
with
elected to a second term.
with a $5,000 a night hooker. Is
But
that
I
what
would
Spitzer
think,
was
yeah.
caught with?
Yeah.
I would think Cuomo would be more inclined to pardon Trump on the state level than Cynthia Nixon.
There's no
If
term
she had
limit
won.
on governor.
No,
What's that?
Nope. No term
Say that
limit
again,
on
Rob?
governor.
yeah, there is in
No-
California.
There is no term limit on
New
governors?
York governor.
On New York
I didn't
governor.
think there was.
Wow.
Yeah.
There are some states that don't have term limits on their governors. New
The
York
governor,
is one of them.
lieutenant,
Well,
the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and state controller are elected to 4-year terms. State senators, assembly persons are 2. However, there's no limit on how many terms any candidate can have.
we had
that's gotta
no
change.
term limits. We had no term limits
Right, Bill.
on mayor. Once Bloomberg got the city to pass a law saying he could run again, and so he became a third-term mayor.
Yeah.
Now the problem was, and this is something we should have learned as a lesson: third term they usually suck, and
Yeah.
he did. He
Hey,
sucked during his
no,
third
no
term.
Coke Zero for you, New
Right.
That's right.
Yorkers.
No,
No
but
Coke Zero.
As Mark Twain said, politicians are like diapers that need change for the same reason.
He was a great two-term mayor of New York. Third term, he sucked. You know, and I think it's because you get a little full of yourself. You know,
Of course you do.
like you're going to tilt windmills, like diet sodas or sugar sodas or whatever.
Yeah, you needed a guy like Lindsay.
Yeah. Yes, Jeff.
When the vice president would then become president, does he have to be approved by the senator?
No.
No.
He automatically.
Chain of command.
Sworn in.
Automatic.
You remember when Kennedy was assassinated and they swore Johnson in on the plane?
Yeah, just chain of command.
And let's say we get to, well, when Nixon went, it was Gerald Ford.
It would have been Rockefeller, but he knew he was leaving, so he got rid of Rockefeller.
But the thing was,
Before that, it would have been Spiro Agnew, and he would have been even worse.
but the fact is that if let's say something happens to Pence, like let's say he goes down with all of this for some reason or another, you're right. Nancy Pelosi would be president of the United States.
And following her would be President Pro Temp of the Senate, which would be a
That would
Republican.
wake up everybody.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll
So-
tell you what. Imagine that. Could you imagine that Pelosi becoming the president?
Hey, if Schumer would have went
Holy
postal
crap.
the other day, you would have, because they were both in the room, then you would have had Pelosi.
I'll tell you something. Pence, the other day, somebody referred to him as Vice President Pillow because he just sat there like nothing was happening. It's like,
No,
wait a minute, hold on a
people
second.
said he was
Pence,
uncomfortable.
No, Pence isn't uncomfortable. Pence is
I
trying
could
to
believe
keep
that, Phil.
Pence is trying to keep an arm's length from all of this because he knows that he may become president someday, and he doesn't want to have to be looked upon as Trump's toady.
Well, but he I mean, let's put it this way. If he ever runs for president, the Democrats, all they need to do is take out the video of him sucking his dick around the table that time. Oh, it's a pleasure and an honor to serve. But that's all they got to do is take that
but
out.
At
and there's
this
no way
point,
guy will ever be president.
you can tell that the wolves are surrounding the castle because Pence is keeping an arm's length from Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And in that thing the other day, you could see it. He was just he wasn't getting involved.
He always kept an arm's length.
No, before
he used to suck his dick every time he was in public.
Yeah.
But it kind of surprised me though that Trump lambasted a little on Pence though for that. I figured he'd keep his mouth shut about Pence and just let him do what he wants.
Did you see some of the comedy around the video that some of the late night talk shows did?
Colbert was.
I wonder what's for dinner tonight.
I think I'm going to change the wallpaper. This rug's got to go.
Yeah, or did you see Colbert was great on
Facebook? I think I'll open an Indian casino.
Yeah.
When you think of Prime Minister Trudeau in Canada in gray sweatpants, that was one of the Facebook memes.
Yeah. But you know, I mean,
shirt on.
The fact of the matter is that he in the last couple of weeks, you can see there's something going on. I think Kelly leaving has a lot to do with it.
Oh,
I think that he saw the winds of change happening, that that Donald Trump was going to be painted into a corner, or that he's.
Bill, would you like to be his chief of staff?
Yeah, sure.
Who?
Trump.
Well, think about why nobody wants the job. Because A, you're going to have the wrath of the government coming down on you for every little time you breathe, and B, the only way you're successful in a job like that is to hold up Trump's lies, and everybody around Trump who lies goes to jail, but he can't because he's the president. Yeah. So who wants that job?
Everybody, a lot of people have been taking the fall for being loyal to Donald Trump.
Some guy named
you forget this one. Jeff Sessions was really a Trump toady for the longest time. And
he was
look
the
how
first one to really come out and support him.
And look how he got thrown to the wolves.
Absolutely. He does it with everybody.
Who's this talk show guy? Piers Morgan?
Piers Morgan, yeah.
Yeah, he wrote something that he wanted to be chief of staff, but
everybody's is sending him texts. I'll be your chief of staff. I'll keep you honest.
I would too, and I already have the hat.
Yeah, you've already got the Oval Office wear. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, all I'm saying is that Pence is kind of a litmus paper to what's going on there. The fact that he's like arm's length. He was sitting in that room, but he wasn't. Somebody referred to him as Vice President Pillow. I mean, that's what he was doing. He was just a pillow in that chair.
Well, the things I heard is that he looked uncomfortable as to what was going on.
Because he had the cameras on him and he didn't know how to act because he's trying to hold in.
He knows how to act.
See, what happened? What was happening yesterday with the Schumer-Pelosi thing
talk show
is that Trump was really doing another episode of The Apprentice. He was really doing a reality show.
Exactly what it was.
And that's exactly what it was. Exactly.
Now, Pence was a talk show host, or was
talk
did
show?
He do anything
radio.
Talk show host.
Radio. All right. No, maybe maybe he's not used to being on camera like that.
No. He wants to. He figures he's next in line, and he doesn't want. He's just like Alex said. He is beginning to separate himself instead of sucking dick, being under the table. Sucking dick like he's done for a year and a half. Now suddenly
he's attempting to be presidential.
He always was.
No,
I wouldn't say that. He was sucking dick, straight up.
That's his job.
President, no,
That's his
I've
job.
never seen any other vice president do that.
Well, that's because he's the kind of vice president that Trump wanted, which was somebody who's going to support his agenda.
He's smart enough to know that that's what Trump needs.
Right. Well, and that's what they're talking about. Is they're saying that if it comes 2020, they don't think that Pence is going to be on the ticket, right?
No.
Why wouldn't he be? He's done everything right as far as Pence is concerned. As far as
they're saying
Trump
that he may not run. He may not run with him.
Oh, I see. He's going to separate himself.
Yeah, they may. I bet you they'll put a woman on the ticket.
I bet there isn't going to be a ticket.
Find one.
I don't think there's going to be a ticket, Phil.
I don't think there's going to be a ticket.
The one who was the UN ambassador that just...
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley. I think she's going to run with him.
Yeah, but I think other Republicans are going to run too. And
he'll just go over to Fox and grab one of the other ones over there.
He's going to have.
I don't think he's going to have any challenges on the Republican.
Hey, Kevin, no problem.
I don't think he's going to be running,
Just
Phil.
go over to Fox and grab one by the pussy.
I don't think he's going to be running, and if he tries to run, I think with all the shit that's going to come down by then, the Republican Party is not going to renominate him.
No, you know, there is such a short memory in this country. People have.
That's right. And if it happened before the midterms, perhaps they would have forgotten. It's going to happen all closer to the presidential race. This thing
that starts now.
Yeah, that's coming to a head. It's coming to a head now, and it's going to be very recent memory to people. And I think you're going to start seeing Republicans jumping ship where Trump is concerned because they don't want his stink on them.
Well, they're all starting already now with the Saudi prince, right?
Yes, the Senate came out today saying the Saudi prince did it. We don't want to do business with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, they had some sort of declaration.
Well, what kind of a slap in the face is that to Trump, who keeps defending this fucking murder?
Trump is saying that economically it makes sense to separate the prince from other Saudi dealings.
So we believe in murder for hire, basically.
No, we're an ally of Saudi Arabia, and the prince. What he's trying to do is he's trying to separate.
And how have they been
Saudi
an ally
Arabia.
to us?
Stabilization in the.
Oh really? Really? Are you calling? Are you calling the wars that they're using stabilization?
Well, what do you mean the wars? You mean the Yemeni war?
Yeah.
No, that is stabilization because they're keeping Iranians from overthrowing the legitimate government of Yemen.
You mean the way like we overthrew the legitimately democratically elected Iranian government in the 1950s?
That's called Me Too, not Me Too.
No, it's not whataboutism. Yeah. It is an equivalency. We did. We forced the duly elected. We threw out and helped overthrow the elected head of Iran and put the Shah in his place. And the Shah, of course, raped that country for everything he had. And we became very unpopular in that part of the world. That's why they don't like us, Phil.
No, there's a lot of other reasons they don't like us.
Chile and install Augusto Pinochet.
Yeah, good example.
Under the same pretext.
And Chile before that was Allende. And Allende was a communist, but he was a democratic communist, and it wasn't to the United States' advantage to have somebody held up as an example as a democratic communist. Nobody ever heard this existed.
Yeah, well, we know it exists. It's called Bernie Sanders and Acacia.
Oh, jeez. Where did that come from?
He doesn't like
democratic communist.
And please the oil industry, that's fine. But nationalize the oil industry against America's interest? We can't have that.
They did a good job in Panama with Noriega.
Yeah, right. Playing that music in front of his hotel.
Anyway, George H.W.
Hey, we've run out of time. What have we done? Well, I've ordered a piece of equipment, which I probably shouldn't have since I'm on a fixed income.
I turned off my GoPro.
And I turned off your GoPro for you. And I found out that maybe Woot doesn't want my credit card.
Your money's no good on Woot.
It doesn't want my normal credit card, but it would take my American Express, and yet over at Amazon I can still charge something on my Visa card. So, who knows what was going on? I may have typed something in wrong somewhere there. Anyway, that's it, guys. Boy, it's been fun in a weird sort of way, in an argumentative way. I love getting into arguments with Brian because he's so spirited, and so he had strong beliefs. Strong beliefs.
By the way, Tony, no offense, I was after Alex. I wasn't after you or anything.
Hey, it's a good thing.
Oh well, I'm supposed to take that as. Sorry, Tony. I was actually after Alex.
Yeah, I was. By the way, Alex, no,
hey,
I'm not.
Brian, do you have any assault weapons?
No, I don't.
You don't know that.
No, but I think Brian does, so that's why I'm kind of nice to him. Phil, thank you very much for your
Uninformed Opinions tonight. And
you're always welcome.
This is 3 nights in a row for Rob Alfano. Must be getting that time of the year when you got a lot of free time.
It's too
Tony,
cold to drive in a convertible.
Thank you for calling.
You know, I'll be honest with you. It was last night. It was monumental with you talking about Trump. You know, maybe I have to rethink my opinion. I had to come back tonight.
Yeah. And Jeff, thank you, Brian. I love you anyway. You know that. And of course, Kevin, thank you. Santa's not being Santa anywhere this year, right?
No, but I'll show up here.
Oh,
When's
okay.
the operation?
Santa might be black.
Anyway, we got to go. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, will you? There they go, folks, because we got to go because the next show has to come on, and the next show is The Intersection with Jack Bishop. And then tomorrow night at 9:30, it'll be The Exchange with Damian Chaplin. Then along about 10 o'clock, I'll be back here. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.